President Hsu, Superintendent Hall, Madam Hsu, thank you for coming. Lee is an old friend of mine. Every time I go to China, she's my hostess and my good friend. I had a chance to visit her remarkable village. I would say second only to Plains is one of my favorite villages in the world. And she has a remarkable museum there dedicated to her father, who was a notable leader of the People's Republic of China. And Madam Gao, thank you for coming here from Houston. We hope soon you'll be able to move the Consul Generalship over to Atlanta. But in the meantime, we're glad to have you visit us. It's a very great pleasure and honor for me. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, Superintendent Hall, I was with representatives of the Confucius Institute. I gave a lecture as one of my duties as a 28-year professor at Emory University yesterday. My lecture was on China. And last time I was in Atlanta, I gave a lecture on China to my grandson's 5th and 6th grade class at Paideia School. So I've been immersed in China the last month. In fact, last week my wife and I were in Chengdu, China, which is famous for having provided Atlanta with 2 pandas. And we now have 2 offspring of the giant pandas from the Chengdu area, one male and one female, and we are now making plans, Atlanta is, to send the female back to be bred in the Chengdu area. So we have very close ties with China. We were in Chengdu about a week ago, helping to build some homes in areas that were damaged by the terrible earthquake that afflicted that particular region. I was in China for the first time a little more than 60 years ago, before many of you were born. And this was at a momentous and historical time for the People's Republic of China. The military forces under Mao Zedong had taken control of the mainland, and the nationalist forces under Chiang Kai-shek were being permitted to still occupy a few of the port cities. I was a young submarine officer permitted to go into the port cities. And we could see the campfires of the communist forces on the hillsides around those cities. Just a few months later, on a very important date, October the 1st, which happened to be my birthday, it also became the birthday of the People's Republic of China. So, 60 years ago, the People's Republic of China came into reality. Later, as some of you may remember, I was elected president. And I was able very quickly to begin making a move that was long overdue, to recognize the People's Republic of China as a proper partner for us in diplomatic terms and in every other aspect of life, to represent the people of China. This was not a popular decision to be made in our country, because the ties of trade and commerce and diplomatic exchange and even military with Taiwan were very strong. But with the foresight and political courage of Premier Deng Xiaoping, we were able to make that announcement. He and I had very secret negotiations, the most secret diplomatic exchanges I ever had while I was president, because we didn't want anyone, even in our own government, to know what our plans were. And on the 15th day of December 1978, Deng Xiaoping and I announced simultaneously from Washington and from Beijing our decision to form diplomatic ties between our 2 countries on the 1st day of January 1979. I would say it was not an accident that 3 days later, on the 18th of December 1978, I think U.S. time, Deng Xiaoping also announced his plans for major reform. of China, which has basically transformed the domestic life of the Chinese people. And the combination of those two things, new ties of mutual respect and friendship and understanding and cooperation between our two great nations on the one hand, and the transformation of the life of China domestically and on a global scale, have brought about extremely beneficial changes to all the people on earth. I don't believe there's any more important bilateral relationship that exists than that we established a little more than 60 years ago, a little more than 30 years ago. This is one of the proudest things that happened to me in my political life. And I've been able to visit China quite often since that time. I remember the first visit I made after I left office in 1981. My wife and I and our daughter Amy and a few friends went to China as guests of Deng Xiaoping. We were treated as royalty. We had a constant series of celebrations. We ate a lot. We sang a lot of songs. We danced a lot. And I have to confess, we drank a good bit of Mao Tai. But it was a chance for us to see the inside glimpse of the coming transformation of the economy of China. Deng Xiaoping and the National People's Congress had decided to introduce for the first time in China's history, certainly under the People's Republic of China, economic freedom, free enterprise. But Deng Xiaoping was very cautious about this move because he didn't want to make the same mistakes that had been made in the Soviet Union and for other reasons. So he arranged for me and Rosen and our entourage to go to a few fairly remote agricultural regions where just farmers alone were permitted to have one enterprise of their own for profit. They could have a maximum of 5 chickens or 5 pigs. A few of them had 5 mink. A farmer could alternatively have an ability to repair bicycles or to make nails or horseshoes or clay pots. That was it. And in the nearby villages, those people were not permitted to have the same privilege. But from that initial glimpse of transforming economic life, the Chinese people have now developed one of the greatest economic systems on earth. I think all of you realize that when President Obama visited China recently, he recognized that the United States owes Chinese people about $800 billion. And also the importance of keeping our own currency and our own economic system sound. Because when we spend each year more than we take in, we have to borrow money from our friends to pay the difference.